The following podcast is sponsored by Structure Tech.
I think in the year 2014, we peaked out. We were rehabbing somewhere in the area of around 350 homes, average a month, and the average cost on that was between $6,000 and $7,000.
Wait a second. A month?
Per month, that's right.
350 homes a month?
That's exactly right. Minnesota, Wisconsin, Omaha, Nebraska, and Iowa.
Welcome to Structure Talk, everybody, a Structure Tech presentation. My name is Bill Ulrich, your host, alongside Tessa Murray and Ruben Saltzman, faithful co-host. Tessa Murray is a building science extraordinaire, and Ruben is home inspector extraordinaire, also known as the savant.
According to you, that's it.
Yes.
And everybody else on the team.
Yes. On today's episode, we're going to be spending the next 25 minutes with Charles Thayer, the owner of All Around Construction. Is there construction on the end of All Around? Or?
No,
okay.
But that's all right. Today there is.
Awesome. Perfect. So Charles, as everybody, you can hear his voice in the background. You'll hear him on AM 1130 on a regular basis on Saturday mornings as well. But we're going to be here today talking about exterior repairs, storm damage, all things all around. And so Charles, why don't you just take a minute and kind of give us some background. Tell us about you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me on. I feel like a lucky person because I have a pretty wonderful team. 12 years ago, we started this company called All Around, and we were actually designed to just rehab and clean up foreclosed properties. Back in 2008, there was just so many of them.
Wow. Okay.
And so the realtors needed help, banks needed help, and my wife and I decided that was the avenue we were going to go down. For a while, it wasn't meant to be a permanent solution. But anyhow, after a few years of doing it, we became a preferred vendor for some very big banks out there and grew. We ended up in 4 different states. And I think in the year 2014, we peaked out. We were rehabbing somewhere in the area of around 350 homes, average a month, and the average cost on that was between $6,000 and $7,000.
Wait a second. A month?
Per month, that's right.
350 homes a month?
That's exactly right. Minnesota, Wisconsin, Omaha, Nebraska, and Iowa.
How many employees did you have?
So actually we kept it was a pretty tight-knit team because we were more of a management style company. So we were kind of a call center and we managed the jobs that the banks would send to us. So we peaked out at about 29 employees, but out in the field we had a list of over 450 different subcontractors, vendors, mechanical contractors. But anyhow, that was how we started, but we knew that that wasn't going to be a sustainable business forever because the foreclosure boom, if you will, was going to bust at some point. The market was going to correct itself. So when we knew we were making good money, we knew we had to put away some of that money and start to plant seeds into other areas. We decided that we knew enough and were good enough at exteriors, both storm damage restoration and just capital improvement, roofing, siding, window replacements, that we had something we could start for a retail division, and that would become the second leg or the sister company, if you will, of All Around. Well, that today is who we are. We are that exterior division that we propped up as a backup plan, kind of. So the market at the time started to correct itself. Banks didn't have to rehab homes as much in 2014, 15. They almost completely stopped. Houses got put just on the market as is, the way they are, and they didn't need to improve them. So most of that business went away, all of it, about $15 million a year worth in rehabs went away in a year and a half. And luckily we planted enough seeds in our new model to have what we are today, which is an exterior contracting team. We replace exterior cladding of all kinds on residential properties and light commercial properties.
Okay. And Ruben, you and Charles have known each other for how many years?
How long has it been? Maybe 8?
42.
42 years.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
And I'm only 38 years old. So.
Okay, so I love this commercial on TV right now where Derek Jeter goes up to that girl and she's making a bracelet and he's like, how long have you had this dream of this company? And she's like, 12 years or 10 years. And he goes, how old are you? Oh, I'm 4. Like, wow, I've been thinking about this a long time. So,
kind of like that.
Yeah, exactly.
No, we met. Charles came to a CE class that I was teaching to real estate agents. And I don't know, I think it was about everything. It was the home inspection horrors class.
Oh, wow.
But it was back when
class.
it was a 2.5-hour
Oh,
class.
okay.
It's gotten a lot longer now. I was teaching about ice dams and all that. And I don't remember why, but Charles sat in on that class for some reason. And
Who was teaching
we
who?
just-
Come on now.
Oh, he was for sure teaching. I just remember the one random slide where he slid a cookie in the middle of his presentation for no reason other than to make sure people were paying attention. And that's what told me, yeah, I got to work with this guy in some capacity, because anybody that just throws out random stuff like that is somebody I want to hang with. So
Funny. Nice.
All right. So what was your background before you got into the rehabbing business?
I was a mortgage broker. You know, honestly, I'm a sales and relationship person. If I were to describe what my trade is, that's what I would say it is. And being in a contracting business and also hosting a home improvement radio show, people think all the time, well, you must know, you're just a modern day Bob Vila, aren't you? No, actually, I'm the last guy you would ever want working on any part of your house, anything. Name it. Yes.
Yeah.
No.
What about hooking up a dishwasher? Would you do that, Charles?
Not a dishwasher, not a fridge. If I can plug it in and it works and it can stay right there, that is me. But what
Plumbing
I've
gets
been
dangerous. We don't want to mess with plumbing, if you know.
Well, I guess I've been told I have a unique way of bringing people together and formulating teams and then marketing what we have to offer, how we bring value. And so that's what we've tried to do.
And that's what he's done with the radio show. I mean, I was hoping we could talk about that too. Just kind of explain a little bit about the radio show, because I remember when you told me how the whole thing works, I had no idea how paid programming actually worked. And when you broke it all down for me, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
There are so many radio shows out there that work exactly like this.
Well,
I thought it was really neat.
do you remember watching shows when you were growing up and there was always that message like, just so you know, the views of this program are not the views of the station, and whatever they say, we're not responsible for. That's what paid programming is, right? It's a company that buys a slot of time from that radio station. They own that slot of time, and they can repurpose it however they want. So that's why the station's always said, hey, just so you know, we're not responsible for them. And they don't say that about my show only, about all the other shows, but they might want to consider making a special one. No, it's a good time to bring this up, actually, because when we were looking for that next business, like what's going to sustain us long term, we know we're good at rehabbing foreclosures. We know this is booming right now, but what's our thing long term? And then we turned to exteriors. We knew we needed a way to market that. At the time, we were looking for other radio shows. So, the best things in life sometimes come from your mentors and help and your friends. We found a real estate show, the Minnesota Real Estate Show, which has a formula that is just like ours. So we joined the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We would go on there and talk and advertise, talk about all around the services that we have. But what I thought was really unique about radio is that people got to know you. When you just would walk up, people would walk up to you randomly and say, hey, you're that guy from News Talk? Oh, gosh, I hear you all the time. That was funny when you said this. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're actually getting to know us. So it's not just a commercial, right? They're actually getting to know a person behind the brand. We really needed it at that time. And so we kind of just imitated what our buddy Ryan at the Minnesota Real Estate team was doing. He bought a block of time. He would have a mortgage person, a title person, all of these different other professions in his industry come in and talk about what they do. It's all relative to real estate, right?
Yep.
What are the loans doing? What's the attorney think about these rules? What's the tax person think about these laws? And bring them all together and create a show around it, and then take live calls as well. That's what really makes it feel like it's a program on the programming side of it, on the entertaining side of it, one that actually gets paid to be on the radio, doesn't have to pay to be on the radio. Well, we have to pay to be on the radio, but boy, it would seem so boring if it were like one of those infomercials from back in the day. So we make it fun and entertaining too.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome. We have to take a break real quick, but when we come back, we're going to kind of continue on your journey to where you're at today and talk more about All Around.
Yeah, and I think we even have a commercial for All Around we can play at the break here.
Yeah, fire it up.
Transition into that. Yeah, let's do it.
Hey, bro, I'm here in the neighborhood doing some free storm damage assessment.
Storm damage?
You know, for that wicked hailstorm you got last week?
I think you've got the wrong neighborhood. We just had a light drizzle.
Oh, no, you had a huge hailstorm, know what I'm saying? Like, you have so much roof damage, your insurance company will need to replace the whole thing free, am I right?
Are you winking at me?
Dude, you're not supposed to say that. You're just supposed to know what that means.
That I actually don't have hail damage and we should lie to the insurance company.
Yeah, no. You're not a cop, are you?
No, but I know their number.
Oh, okay, well, keep in touch.
Whether or not you have storm damage, you want a roofing and siding company whose word is good, with the insurance company and with you. At All Around, we've staked our reputation on honesty and integrity, honest, fair pricing, and solid hard work. For a free, honest consultation for your roofing or siding job, visit allaround.com.
All around, we get it done and we do it right.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Structure Talk, a Structure Tech presentation. My name is Bill Ulrich, alongside Tessa Murray and Ruben Saltzman, as always. And we've got Charles Thayer in the studio today, and we're just chatting about All Around. And we just listened to a commercial, and I'm like, I love that jingle. It doesn't get annoying. And there's a good hook on it.
Well, if you grew up in my era, you may have listened to a little bit of Metallica or Guns N' Roses, so that's...
And you guys know who that is singing, right?
Is that you singing?
That's Charles singing.
Oh, awesome.
That is
Wow.
him
Holy
doing
cow.
that.
Charles
He's
Rose.
the voice. Charles Rose.
Your physique is a little better than what Axel's is right now.
Wait till I turn sideways.
Yeah, I love that. And where does that commercial play? That plays on a lot of stations, doesn't it?
Yeah, 93X, News Talks, K-Fan, Bob. We have an assortment, and we'll switch it from year to year depending on what's good for us, what our advertising agent thinks is good for us, or whatever.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that.
Does that power a lot of business?
It really does. And one thing I can say about radio is that if you're talking to the right people and you have the right message, that's great. But if you can infuse it with entertainment, comedy, something that they can remember, it's like sticking an ad with steroids. You're blowing it up. I remember the first year of radio where we didn't do any of that, and it was kind of blah, and it was, come to us, we're great, you can trust us. All right, yeah, like everybody says that same stuff, right? But when you make people laugh, let's face it, you're interrupting their entertainment, so maybe you should give back a little bit of entertainment.
Sure, that's great advice.
Yeah, it was the best advice we were given by our ad agency is to change it up, get some comedians, some voiceover people involved, and then couple that with some of the stuff that we bring to the table. And
yeah. So all those stations you noted were Clear Channel stations. Is that where your ad person?
A lot of what we do is Clear Channel, except for 93X and Cumulus and KQ and those stations over there.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I'm taking mental notes furiously and really underlining this. Quit doing boring commercials. We got to do something fun and entertaining.
Nobody cares
let's
about
have
home
Ruben
inspections.
sing.
They just want it to work, and they don't want problems. So what they care that everything that you need to know, so their life is not interrupted.
Yeah, but how do we make it entertaining?
Let's have Ruben sing and dance on the
You just
commercial.
put cha
You
at
should.
the end of it, and then it's perfect.
Cha.
That's right.
How's
Anything
that?
you say, a cha.
Yeah, and if you guys have ever noticed his vehicles, Charles has got a whole fleet of vehicles, and on the hood it says real big "Cha." That's what it comes from.
Yeah,
That's
they're
what it
all
comes from.
blue.
Okay.
What is it? Siberian military camo with cha written all over the front of them. We just want them to stand out.
So Siberian military camo, is that the tan?
That would be the blue, like winter cold ice.
Gotcha.
Blue Russian, like.
All right.
I
love it. Okay, so let's talk more about your business.
Okay.
Right? Like, what do you do at All Around that? Are you dealing with insurance companies all the time? Or are you just fixing stuff? Or what is it that?
Yep, great question. So we're exterior contractors, and that means the outside of the building envelope, so outside of the home, roofing, siding, windows primarily. But people come to us for a number of reasons, right? They either had a loss, storm, something happened, or they're looking to improve, or they have a problem. So a defect, right, which you guys are experts at. We don't want to be we only take this and we don't do that. We want to be able to help people with all three of those facets, if you will. Improve or restore, or you have a problem, we need to figure out what it is. In our state, we tend to get a lot of storm damage. For some reason, more so even lately, there's just more and more hailstorms, and they're more severe, and they're hitting populated areas. So insurance premiums are going up. Things are changing in the industry, and I think people are starting to get more savvy about it, but there's so many people out there that have no idea how to navigate through the storm process. And
Do you
there's
guys walk clients through that?
Yeah, we handle every part of it, but we really try hard to not be known as a storm chaser. Like that's why I said like we won't hang our hat on whether it hails or not, right? We're an expert exterior remodeler. We can customize a plan for you. But if you happen to have a loss, if your neighborhood happens to have that wicked storm come through, you're going to be inundated immediately with contractors. They come from other states. It's amazing. They don't even wait sometimes for it to stop raining. It's still rain. Hail's still falling down. And you'll get a knock on the door, and that's the truth. I mean, we see.
Are they
this
licensed in all these states, or how are they getting around?
You have to be in Minnesota, but they have satellite offices sometimes, so
Sure.
they'll just have something open here to keep the name, or they'll work with another contractor and utilize their license. But your first line of defense is knowing what's in your insurance policy and knowing that you're covered there. A lot of people that we meet and see what's on their statement or what they're going to get from their insurance company after the damage, they don't realize, but they didn't buy the insurance that they should have bought, or their agent didn't update them when the policy changed. Did you guys ever get mail where, it's from your insurance company and you're like, it's junk mail,
I always throw
Always
that
throw it
away.
away.
Yeah,
You might want to read that.
I pay my bill, right? So like I don't need
I'm
this.
sure I might. Yeah.
So here's the problem with not reading it is a lot of times it looks like it's just buy more insurance from us, or we got you covered, you're in good hands, right? Go to the last page of it. A lot of times they'll put that change just all the way tucked behind advertisements because they want you to throw it away. I just got one 4 months ago. It said, by the way, your policy now requires you to notify us within 6 months if you intend to have a claim. Otherwise, we might not cover you.
Sure.
And that's just one version. There's many other versions of changes that can happen. And then you would want to know if something changed on what you're paying for, right?
Yep.
I've always wondered about insurance. In our business, we do a home inspection. We send out this great report. And what we find is a lot of people actually looking at it. They're not reading the details of it. And then when something that comes up that we talk about, they're like, oh, I should have read that. I feel the same way about insurance companies. And when you buy a house, there's just so much going on at that moment, right? You're getting this, you're getting that, and you have so many documents coming at you. How can you read through it? Like, who's got the bandwidth to read through several hundred pages of important information, mortgage, inspection, insurance documents? Like, you need a whole staff of people to do it.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Well, that's why having a relationship with your agent is important, right? That's what you pay that agent for. Hey, what would you do if you were in my shoes, Mr. or Mrs. Agent, right? That's the kind of agent I want to work with. I don't want to work with, trust me, you don't want to work with a over the 800 number agent, insurance agent, just go online and click insurance. You want to have somebody that you can walk into their office once a year, have a quick little refresher, and if something happens, honestly, those people are like your lifeline. You do call them. I know it seems really cliche, but when something happens, having somebody you can pick up the phone and call and say, I've known Stacy for 15 years. She's been my agent 15 years. She's gonna help me out. I'm calling her right now. You know?
Mine since 2001, same agent all that time. Like, I leave my first name and he knows to call me back. It's not like I have that many claims with him, but we do a lot of business.
Yeah.
So anyway, we should take a quick break real quick. We're going to step away, play another commercial from All Around, and you'll get to hear Charles's pipes again. It'd be awesome.
Maybe. Yeah. Can't wait.
Blue. What does it mean to be blue, like all around?
I'm blue.
I'm blue.
I am blue. Blue means being a good neighbor.
Blue means helping your community.
Charles, your turn.
What? How? I'm not sure what's going on right now, Mark.
Be blue, Charles. Like the polished blue all-around vans that watch over our Twin Cities.
That's just the color we picked?
Blue, Charles. Not just any color like red or green, but blue. Like all-around's lifetime roofing, windows, and siding.
Some people pick blue, but...
We'll tell that to these all-around heroes in blue.
I'm blue, so I can be my best.
I'm blue, like happy blue, not sad.
I'm blue, like when the mountains are ready.
You see, Charles, being blue like all around is being...
Hey, I get it. Blue. Like us.
Yes, Charles, go.
Over 10,000 homes improved, and we still stand behind each project.
That's it.
We know we're not the cheapest, and we're proud of that.
Seize it, Charles. It's blue.
And I mean, people buy all around because they're buying reassurance that they're not going to have future issues. How is that?
Boomsticks. So be blue, or be that sad guy over there in the corner. Be blue, like all around. finishing the job you said you would finish when you said you would finish the job.
Okay, what?
I'm Blue. Abba-dee-abba-die.
All around, we get it done and we do it right.
It appeals to the younger generation, I think.
It works.
Yes.
Well-
Older people might be like, what was that I just listened to?
Yes.
What does blue mean? I don't get it. That's like
Oh, we've had people call us and say, like, yelling at us, saying that that's a political message. That
Really?
we're blue.
Welcome back, everybody, to Structure Talk, a Structure Tech presentation. That lady's voice you just heard is Tessa Murray. I'm Bill Ulrich, alongside Ruben Saltzman, and Charles Thayer is in the studio with us today. So we just wanted to get back to a storm chaser conversation. Ruben's looking at me like I asked that the wrong way. I'm sorry. So, Ruben, I'm going to tee you up right now.
I wanted to talk about the commercial. I love that commercial. I love the end. Dabba dee babba dabba die. I laughed out loud when I heard that.
You remember that song? Right?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Those characters are something else. When you watch those people do those commercials and they, in the studio, become that person, like even though they're just in front of a mic and in a sound booth, they still become that person. Like, when the mountain's ready, you know, and you're just like, wow, man, you just changed totally into that new person. Like,
I got to work with one of those guys for a commercial for us. We've got the most boring commercials on the radio.
Oh, Mark and Joe with Shout Creative, great people. I'll introduce you anytime.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that.
All right, well, let's go back to something that's less fun. Roofs and siding damage and that kind of stuff from insurance.
Yeah.
Quick, are you out of Blaine yet? Right? Like, have you finished up the Blaine project?
Yeah, just when you thought Blaine would never finish up. Coincidentally, this year, people that were hit in 17 were hit again this year with a new hailstorm. Yeah, there were about 10 major storms, not exaggerating, around the metro. This year was a very stormy year. And so just when things were finishing up in Blaine, there's new damage in Blaine.
Wow.
You know what I'd say about that? They're just unlucky, but they moved in the suck just a little farther. They might miss some of that.
Zip it, Bill.
All right.
Bill calls the St. Paul and Minneapolis, the center of that area, the Sustainable Urban Core, the SUSUC. That's his own made-up acronym. Bill's the
Bill
king
makes
of acronyms.
Actually,
for everything.
so if I'm going to give full credit to this, that's an old from years ago. I think Joe Souchere on Garage Logic talked about the suck, but I've fully adopted that way of thinking. I love it in the city. I'm I'm a city kid.
Whatever. We argue about this a lot. Yeah. But no, we wanted to talk about storm damage and storm chasers. And I was hoping you could share some advice for what people can do after they get hail damage. They suspect they get hail damage. How do you differentiate good companies from storm chasers, just door knockers?
Yeah. Well, first, let me be clear. There are a lot of good companies out there. Unfortunately, the list is shorter than the amount of bad companies there are that are out just to take advantage of this opportunity that they have to make a quick buck. So the first thing I want you to ask yourself when you know you were hit by one of these wicked storms, like, you look at your siding, you have some holes in it, there's a lot of activity, a lot of buzz, contractors are everywhere, your gutters are dented like crazy. You're going to make a claim, right? Think to yourself, is my home leaking? Do I have a leak in my home? Mm-hmm. That's the only thing you should care about at first, right? And then get that patched, repaired first before anything else. That's what you should think about. Once you've done that, you have a lot of time. You have plenty of time to make calculated decisions and figure out what's the next best move. We highly recommend that you don't sign a contract with somebody you've never met before that knocks on your door. I know it seems like duh, right? Like, but it is crazy.
If it didn't happen all the time, you wouldn't have to say it.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying like, well, it would sound bad if I was like, well, don't sign a contract with anyone else but All Around. That's not what I'm saying. There's a lot of great companies out there. But if you just met the person that day, they're creating some sense of urgency, don't sign a contract. There's no good reason. And I can't think of one advantage to doing that.
And, to that point, when you're saying check your roof to see if it's leaking, Bill, Tessa, Charles, how often have you guys seen a roof that's leaking because of hail damage? Like once? How many? Once in your life ever? Any of you
No,
guys?
I haven't-
Everybody's shaking
never.
their heads.
No, I know it's great radio, right? Shake your head all day long. No, I actually have been able to say never until this year.
Oh, you actually saw one leaking, huh?
We had about baseball, I call it racquetball size. No one uses the racquetball, but
Yeah.
the racquetball size hail hit in Watertown this year. Massive destruction out there. And we had a gentleman with ridge cap. But see, that's different. There's a ridge vent cut into the roof, okay?
Right.
So it's not like it would have gone through roofing and cheating and
Yeah.
everything else. This absolutely would have leaked if we didn't patch it. But guess
Okay.
what? We patched it, and now we're still working with the insurance company to get a good settlement out of it. And his roof is currently patched still.
Sure.
Going into winter, everything. We're fine. You see, that's an example of you have time. You don't have to sign this thing that, and if people pretend to read like a carbon copy contract right there when the person's standing at the door. You're not reading anything.
No.
Are you sure? You think, is this, you guys, you have a logo on your shirt. I guess that's good, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
We took a call from an attorney who lived on the southwest side of town who wanted us to come out and give a third-party inspection of his roof where a door knocker got him to sign a contract. An attorney signed a contract on his step to get his roof which had hail damage that was ultimately denied by a insurance company. But now he was stuck with these people. And so I guess my point is people can kind of melt down at particular times, and when somebody's there telling you you've got a problem, all the gears start whining really fast.
Some of these chasers are masters at creating a sense of urgency, and if there is a trade that they'd have, I'd say it's getting that commitment and that trust up front from people. But what they lack at, unfortunately, is the actual trade of putting a home back together, restoring a home, right? Because there's one way to do it. It's the right way. It's not like the insurance way versus the capital improvement way. You know, if you're paying your own money, we repair the house this way. If the insurance, no, it's not that way. There's one right way. So I guess I'll leave you guys with this too. This is probably the best advice is this. Consider your long-term goals and what you actually want to do to your house. The insurance money is just one part of it, right? Anybody can slap up some labor and material, put it on your house and get it together, right? But are you really doing yourself a service, especially when this is your chance to have the insurance company cover your restoration? Get with a company you can trust, you know?
And typically, do insurance companies pick up the entire tab, or is it depends?
Well, they pick up what's damaged, you know,
Okay.
and they're not going to pick up you taking it to the next level and improving your home more than that. And then there's always deductibles. And
Sure.
deductibles are going up and up because more and more claims are being made. Policies are getting slimmer and slimmer. Things are being excluded. People should know what's in their policy. And all of those questions should be answered before they decide to make a claim. That's a great point.
What happens, just a quick question, to that attorney then who signed a contract with one of these, these storm chasers, and then they get denied? What happens?
These contracts are contingency contracts, right? So the guys are saying, if you sign up with me now and you get approved for a roof, then you have to hire us, right?
Okay.
If the home gets denied, there wasn't enough damage, that contractor is long gone. They don't care.
Okay.
They're not going to hold them to anything.
Yeah, and I think what this attorney had this now seated doubt. He's like, somebody was here and said, I've got damage, and I've got 27 squares of shingles that supposedly have damage, and I just don't want to make a wrong decision. And I was like, well, we sent somebody out there and they gave our opinion, but we have no authority. We have no jurisdiction over this. We'll just tell you what we see.
I'll tell you right now, over half of them tell everybody that their roof is damaged. It doesn't matter. They don't really inspect anything. They don't really care. It's a numbers game to them, and they just want an adjuster to go out to that house, and hopefully that adjuster feels like buying a new roof. Total different discussion is the adjusting game and why adjusters buy roofs that have no damage. That's extremely interesting, and that's truly the reason why we have such a crazy, crazy industry where hundreds of people will get new roofs and their neighbors won't.
All right, you teased it.
Yep.
Tell us why.
Really? You
Yeah.
want to know?
Yeah.
These adjusters are paid on a fee schedule. These adjusters sometimes can be really not ethical. They're not doing their job the right way. So I'll give you an example. If I'm an adjuster and you made a claim and I'm showing up to your house, let's say Allstate Insurance is hiring me. I'm an independent adjuster. I don't really work for Allstate, right? If I show up to your house and I notice there's no damage really, I turn in a report, I'm done, I only get $75-ish to do that report. If I show up to your house, I take a whole bunch of photos, I do notice that there's damage, I diagram the roof, and I put a big report together and then issue you a check. I just did 2 hours worth of work instead of a half hour worth of work. My paycheck is about $400. They're paid to find damage. They're paid to buy damage. So the chasers know that there's a lot of independent adjusters out there that will push damage, and it's just you're in that vicious cycle, and it never.
Wow.
Could you guys imagine if we got paid like that?
That'd be awesome.
Oh my
Well, and what if like health insurance worked that way?
So many things.
Probably does.
People would be covered.
That's why it's falling apart in a lot of reasons, you know. So.
Wow, that's some good insight.
Huh.
That's amazing. And so what Charles just did is he teased the next podcast.
Sure,
where we're gonna go deep on that conversation.
Investigate adjusters here on Structure Talk, going deep inside.
That voice you just heard is Charles Thayer from All Around. You've been listening to Structure Talk, a Structure Tech presentation. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks so much.
For more information on how we can provide you with the right information about your home before you buy or sell, contact us at structuretech1.com.